Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Damien and this is the first of 3 videos that I'm putting together aimed at absolute beginners, so those students who have never driven a car before. Now, in the UK at the moment, obviously we're in lockdown and lessons aren't happening, and so I've had a few requests from those students who haven't yet started the lessons yet to put some videos together that are going to help them prepare for their first lessons. So the first video, we're going to be looking at the basic controls of the car, things like the gears, how the gears work, the handbrake and the 3 pedals on the floor. In the second video, we're going to touch upon the clutch and the biting point and the importance of what the clutch does in getting the car moving. And in the third video, we're going to be looking at how to actually move the car a few meters under full control, and we're going to stop the car. Okay, that's it. Let's go. Okay, first things first, let's take a look at the 3 pedals on the floor. Okay, so if I move my feet out of the way, we've got 3 pedals. We've got from left to right, we've got the clutch, the brake and the accelerator. And if you notice with my feet, I'm using my left foot to operate the clutch only, and my right foot pivots from left to right or right to left, depending if I want the brake or if I want the accelerator. It's really important that your seating position is comfortable, because in a minute you'll see that when I press the clutch pedal down, I've got to give it a little bit of force in order to do it. So I need to make sure that my seat's reasonably close to the pedals in order for me to do that. So that's the first thing that you need to work out, is getting quite close and getting comfortable to the pedals. Okay, let's start off by taking a look at the clutch pedal first. I don't want to talk too much about the clutch because I've got a second video after this one that's going to go into a lot more detail about what the clutch is, the importance of the clutch and how it's linked to moving the car forwards. But all I'm going to say at this point is, again, with my left leg, it's only my left leg that uses the clutch. It does go down quite a long way before it won't go any further. A lot of students tend to not push it down quite as far. It does need to go all the way down in order to be able to change gear, and just before you're going to stop the car as well. So it's really important that your seating position allows you to be able to push that clutch pedal all the way down to the floor, and so that when you're doing it, you're not too stretched out and it's not uncomfortable, because it's really important that you be able to control that clutch to the best that you can. Okay, the brake pedal, the pedal in the middle, and again I'm using my right foot to operate the brake pedal when I need to use it. Very sensitive. I think it's one of the biggest surprises when you start to learn to drive, is how sensitive the brake pedal is. You hardly have to touch it at all to get the car slowing down, and certainly if I were to press it very hard and very quickly, the car would come to a very abrupt stop, and that's something that you will do when you're looking at doing an emergency or a control stop as part of your lessons, and maybe as part of your test. The brake pedal has 2 functions. Yes, as you gently press the brake pedal, it obviously begins to slow the car down. But at first, what you might not realize is actually when you just gently press the brake pedal, nothing happens. The car doesn't slow down immediately, but what does happen is that your rear brake lights come on, therefore alerting the vehicle behind you what you're about to do. So basically, the brake pedal is a form of information and communication about what's happening and what you're about to do. So it's really important that you're aware of what's happening when you're slowing down by checking your mirrors, because you need to know what's behind you when you are slowing down. Okay, and lastly, we've got the accelerator, the gas pedal, again, the pedal on the right-hand side. Again, when you press it at first, it does tend to go down a little bit further than the brake, but not quite as far down as the clutch. So again, what you'll be able to work out from that is that, again, you don't need to apply a lot of pressure in order to get the car moving quite quickly. Again, the accelerator has two functions. Obviously, the first one is when you press the accelerator pedal, you're going to start to move off and start accelerating and moving off down the road. But when you come off the gas pedal, the car begins to slow down. It doesn't maintain the speed that you're doing. So sometimes when you're approaching certain situations, hazards or roundabouts or certain types of junctions, you'll be able to release the accelerator pedal, the car will begin to slow down, and it might give you time to make a decision on what you're about to do. Okay, let's move on to have a look at the handbrake. Okay, so at the moment, handbrake is on because, as we can see, it's in its raised position. We also know the handbrake is on because if we take a look at the dashboard, we can see in the bottom right hand corner a small red circle is illuminated with an exclamation mark in the middle, and that is a handbrake warning light. Okay, so that's again another visual check we can do. The difference between the handbrake and the foot brake is that when I press the foot brake with my right foot gently, when I do that, all four wheels begin to slow down. The brakes engage all four wheels. But when the handbrake is on, only the back two wheels are engaged. So therefore it doesn't control all four wheels. Now, to take the handbrake off, all we do is, now at the moment, what I also need to say as well is that my foot is at the moment on the foot brake. If I took the handbrake off, my car would roll forwards into my garage, and then my wife would get pretty much ticked off with me. So to take the handbrake off, what we do first of all is we need to slightly raise the handbrake up a little bit. Now you'll notice that when I do that, this silver button slightly goes backwards. Now if I tried to press that button in now, it wouldn't go down. So what I need to do is lift it slightly, press that button in, and all the way down. So therefore, to put the handbrake back on again, I press the button in, raise it slowly, let go of the button first, and then drop the handbrake. I can now release my foot brake, and the handbrake is on. Okay, let's finish off this section by having a look at the gear stick and what gears do. Now, I would say the most common worry that students have at the beginning of their lessons are related to gears and how to change gear and which gear to be in at that right moment in time. Now, all I'm going to say at the moment is that gears operate within a band of speed, and therefore they regulate the speed that you do. So all you need to do is make sure that you're in the right gear for the right speed. Now we'll have a look at that in a bit. Now first of all, let's have a look at the gear stick itself and see how it looks. Okay, so at the moment my car isn't in any gear, it's in neutral. Now neutral is the plane that runs in between all of your gears, and we know we're in neutral by being able to push the gear stick quite a long way to the left and it springs back, and then quite a long way to the right and it springs back. If we were in gear, we wouldn't be able to move the gear stick as far to the left or to the right as that, so therefore we're in neutral. Now when the gear stick rests in the middle like that, if I pushed it all the way up, I'd be in third gear. And if I pushed it all the way back down, I'd be in fourth gear. Now all gearboxes are designed pretty much the same way, but sometimes reverse gear might be in a different location on the car that you're driving, which means that in theory I don't need to look down when I'm changing gear. However, what I will say is at first students do tend to look down just for kind of confirmation that they're in the right place. So let's look at going to gear 1 first, and all we need to do is follow that little map. So if I push the gear stick all the way to the left and up, I'm always going to be in first gear. If I come back down into neutral and push it all the way over to the left and down, I'm always going to be in second gear. And by using your palm of your hand, you'll always find the right gear. So by pushing all the way over to the left and up, I'm going to be in first gear. If I palm it down, I'm back in neutral. And that's how gears are moved.
Okay, so this is just a quick illustration to try to explain how your gears relate to the speeds that you are traveling, and that relates to whether you are accelerating or whether you are slowing down. So let's take gear 1 as an example. In terms of the power column, you can see that gear 1 is the most powerful gear in the gearbox, and that's because if you think logically, gear 1 has to propel you, passengers and luggage, from a standing or stationary position. So therefore it needs the most power to get you moving. In terms of speed though, first gear can only travel for low speeds, and therefore you're not going to be in first gear for very long before you need to change to second gear. Okay, if we look at then gears 2, 3, 4 and 5, you'll notice in the miles per hour column that the range of speeds begins to increase, which means that you're going to be in those gears for longer. Okay, and if you go to fifth gear, you'll notice that the power output is very low because you're already moving at speed. The gears have propelled you forwards, but the speed is therefore high, and therefore you can be in fifth gear for a lot longer. You can sit in fifth gear generally on dual carriageways and motorways. So that's how you accelerate and go through your gears. However, you've got to flip that now if you are beginning to slow down. So you couldn't be in fifth gear if you wanted to travel at 10 or 12 or 15 miles an hour. You'd have to be in second gear for that. So when we're driving, if we are slowing down, let's say for example to approach a left turn, we'll generally be doing a left turn at about 14 or 15 miles an hour. We couldn't leave the car in fourth gear because it wouldn't operate efficiently and the car would splutter and it would tell you that it's not happy. So hopefully that's a quick explanation as to how gears and gearboxes work.
Okay, so that was an introduction into the main controls of the car. In the next video, what we're going to be looking at is the clutch and the importance of the clutch, what it does, and how we're going to get this car moving by using the clutch pedal. Okay, thanks again for tuning in. As always, if you're able to, please subscribe, and if you can, press that bell icon for notifications of new videos. Take care, and I'll see you soon.